Hi everyone, this is Brian from HobbyQuest, and today I'll be showing you how to build the Wind Twister. Now, this is a 2-session long aviation project, and it's going to require a lot of materials. So to start, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a pencil, some sandpaper and a sanding block, and for you, the instructor, you're going to need super glue. The students will be using their glue sticks for this project. Okay, so in your kit you're going to find two instructional sheets. The first being the assembling instruction sheet, and the second being the wing assembly sheet, which has a blueprint for all the wings. On the first session, we're going to be cutting out and building the wings. So we're going to take our blueprint and we're going to cut out section A along the dotted lines. This is going to be our first wing. Okay. Once it's cut out, you'll see that there are numbers A1, A2, and A3 all labeled on your blueprint. These are going to be the sections where our balsa wood is going to be placed. So make sure each student has 2 or 3 pieces of balsa wood and that they follow the number order. So start with A1, place the balsa wood onto the blueprint, grab your pencil and mark off where it's going to need to be cut in order to fill the space. Now, if you're having a hard time cutting it, you can choose instead to just snap it and sand off the edge. That should do it. Take a glue stick and glue the balsa wood onto the blueprint. And we're going to do the same exact thing for A2 and A3. Make sure the students actually try their best to keep the balsa wood sticks as close to one another as possible. That way you can use some super glue to hold the entire thing together and reinforce it. Okay. Now once you have wing A done, you're going to do the same thing for wing B and wing C. And to save some time, I've already got those two prepared right over here. Now each of these wings should be labeled A, B, and C. And there's a space on each wing for your students to write their name so that you can give them back their projects after you've collected them during the first session. Okay. So once these are done, we have A, B, and C all completed. You're going to go around and use your super glue to reinforce each junction where the balsa wood sticks meet. And all you need is a drop You don't need that much. Just place a bit of super glue in each space, and that should reinforce it and make sure that it doesn't come apart. Let's just give it a bit of a spray to speed this up. All right, so when the wings are done and they're left to dry, the students can now move on to the spruce wood stick. Now we're going to need to connect all the wings together onto the spruce wood, okay? So we're gonna first measure out and mark parts of the spruce wood. You can use a ruler for this. The instructions are actually labeled, but you can also turn over to the other side of your instruction sheet, and there you're gonna find that there's a drawing to show where you need to mark your sticks. So where you see the lines, 55 millimeters from one side, 65 from the other. You can just put a line there to mark those parts of your stick. You may want to mark which side is the top side, and that is the side where you measure 65 millimeters. You can just write top there as well, so students know and remember that that's where it goes. All right. Once this is done, you can go ahead and move on to the next step. The next step is actually going to be inserting these connector pieces for the wind twister. So you're going to need 2 of them for each student. We're going to take one of the connector pieces and slide it onto the spruce wood stick. Slide down to where you've marked that stick. And the other, we're going to do the same exact thing. And it's important that your students know that these connector pieces need to be lined up the same way. So if they're holding it like this and they see that there is a connector that's facing down, and there should be one on the other side as well. Okay? Now these are pretty loose, so once they're on, you can go ahead and go around the room and apply some super glue to reinforce the connector piece. Once again, you just need a drop. You don't need to overdo it, just enough to hold it in place. And you can give it a spray of accelerator fluid just to speed that process up a bit. All right, now the next part is going to involve wing A. All right, remember we marked off the top of our project, so this is the top. We're going to take wing A and attach it like this to the connector, okay? So you're going to have your students fit this right into place. And after they fit it into place, you can go around and spend some time applying a bit of super glue in order to hold it in place. And once that's done, that's actually the end of our first session. So you're going to want to collect these and put them away. Try to keep them somewhere where they will stay safe. they won't break. And once again, make sure all the students have written their names down on their pieces. That way you can give them back. Okay? Now, during the second session, we're going to hand these all back to your students. And we are going to assemble the rotor. Okay, so all these pieces, we can put them aside for now. We're going to go ahead and take our rotor, which is right over here. You're going to have a packet like this and a rubber band. We're going to open up our packet and pull out the parts, making sure not to lose any of them. We don't need the rubber band that's inside the packet, so you can actually toss that out. But we do need the rotor blades, the spinner, and the hook. So we're going to take the spinner first, and we're going to attach the rotor blades. We're going to push in the peg so that it snaps into place. You can see that on the underside of the rotor blades. And they should fit into place all the way. That way they don't come out and fly out after you attempt to fly your model. Okay, once that's done, we're going to once again find the top part of our model, which is right over here. And we're going to take the rotor blade and attach it to our model on top. Now, this is a really important step to note, and really important to make sure your students understand that this hook right over here is going to attach to a rubber band, and it needs to go through your model. So you need to make sure that there's a space open for that rubber band. So if you were to, for example, attach it like this hook is right over here, but there's one of the wings, wing A, in fact, is actually blocking it. So you want to make sure that that hook is not blocked by anything. You want to make sure there's a gap, okay? You want to attach the other hook on the opposite side the same way, and take your rubber band, tie a knot at the ends to form a loop. And like many of our other rubber band powered planes, you want to take the knot and attach it to the tail end of your model. So attach it to the plastic hook. Bring it all the way down to the metal hook without stretching it. And then bring it all the way back to the other side and attach it. And it should be something like this. It doesn't have to be too tight. We want to make sure it's loose in order to not put too much stress on our model after we wind up our rotor. Okay, so now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and attach B and C. While you're actually doing this, your students can actually go ahead and decorate their models. They can decorate the wing of A, B, or C, or all three of them. And you can go around and start applying the wings to the model using super glue. So just like with wing A, we just insert the wing into the connector piece. And we do this one at a time. Apply some super glue to the connector. And the same goes for the third wing. And this can take some time because you have to do this individually for every student. You can just call them up to your desk and do it one by one, or you can go around to their desks and do it. So. Just like that. this is our completed wind twister. As you can see, this is a pretty unique and interesting design. To fly it, we have to wind our rotor clockwise, just like we would for any other one of our wooden models. And to launch it, we just have to hold on to the bottom, hold the rotor, and when you're ready to let it fly, let go of the rotor, let it spin for a bit, and let go of the bottom, and it should fly. Okay? Well, I hope that this was fun, interesting, and informative for you. I hope you and your students have a great quest.